Piston Punches. Piston Punches. It's Ray Sanders and the Piston Punches. He'll be unveiling those Piston Punches. Piston Punches later on against Simon. But I'm getting ahead of me sen. And this week, for Memphis Wrestling, Mempho, we have Violent J from Juggalo Championship. Now, he calls it Juggalo Championship Wrestling. It's a family show, folks, not Juggalo Championship Wrestling, which is what it used to be called, isn't it? Isn't it? I think it is. Anyway, first of all, I mean, I mention it every week, don't I? Terrence is just, he's constantly cheesed off now. I don't think there is one time during this episode when he's on camera that he smiles. I don't think. He's really cheesed off with Dustin. He's putting other people's views forward, which is great. And I love I love the way he says that when the information from Dustin about the Green City Rumble, and he also he announces it like that, Dustin, which is very nice of him, because I'm sure that's taken from me. I'm sure it is. And he mentions that the gun show won. What does Terrence say? That man's had more opportunities than someone on parole. That's extraordinary. Terrence, loving it, mate. And listen, this salty turn does not have to go anywhere. I just want it to continue, to be honest. Now, out comes the gun show. He is interrupted by Vashon Harvey, who wants to fight him, and they will. Now, Gunshow offers a handshake. Vashon Harvey slaps him, I mean, really does. Well, chops him, really, and then turns his back on him to celebrate. Vashon, I know that Vashon will rue the day he did that, because you don't turn your back on anyone in wrestling, do you? Or actually in life at all, in my view, because you're going to get an attack in some way, aren't you? Turn your back, you'll get an attack. So he celebrates with the fans, turns his back, turns around, spinebuster, lariat, two of them for the pin. And he's only been away for about a minute. He comes back to the desk, does capital T, capital D, does Mr. Gun Show. Every rose has its thorn, Michaels. And we get Zay Washington and Denzel Rollins with, just in case, out. They are now called the New Wave. Now, New Wave in my book, because I'm a little older and more seasoned, is early 80s pop. That's what New Wave is. So I don't know if they're going to come out dancing to Spandau Ballet or Duran Duran. Her name is Rio and she... Maybe that. His name is Aaron and he really is our mate. We're going to make sure he wins. That will seal his fate. All of that. Maybe that. I don't know. But anyway, they're out, but Aaron isn't, which leads to chants of we want Aaron. And so do I, because I like him as well. And Justin says that the gun show might not make it to the Super Bout 4, where he's going to, of course, face Aaron because he won the Great City Rumble. And Gun Show trumps them by saying, come on, men, both of you in the ring now. Now, Denzel Rollins seems to want it a bit more than Zay Washington, but just in case, he says, no, not now, on our terms. But as Dustin says, as Dustin Starr says, Memphis Vince says, he leaves with his tail between his legs. Yes. Now, someone else who's got their tail between their legs eventually is Jimmy Blaylock, because out comes Van Viscius, who's dressed down with a kind of beanie hat on. He's not got the sort of bright colours and gold that he used to wear. And out comes the clique. New funky music. Funky. Now, Van Viscius says that Jimmy is a con artist and a backstabber. He gave him a check which bounced. And Jimmy says, well, you know, look, we don't need to talk about this now. We can talk about this some other time. Jimmy then says that, well, actually, I've got Ray Collins and he's better than you. What Van then says is, look, it's not about you two. I've got no problems with you, Ray. I've got no problems with you, Jay. But then he smacks them both. And we will have a match because he's attacked from behind by Jay Smooth. Put down, actually. Terrence says he got what he deserved. Well, in a way, I agree, because it's a bit silly. It's like a risk assessment, isn't it? You come out to the desk, capital T, capital D, and you think, well, I'm on my own. How many people are there? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I like those odds. No, bring some others with you. Immediately that they start to attack each other, or that he starts being attacked, out comes King Cobra with a contract, signs it, says there's a match. Bloody hell! I've heard of matches being made on the hoof, but so it's Van Viscus versus Jay Smooth. Van flying forearms, yeah, a blue thunderbomb, kind of a scoop into a blue thunderbomb. It's very nice, actually. Secret Service are on the apron, but they get the shots, and he's got time. I thought that, Jay Smooth's going to beat him up here because of the distraction, but no, he gets a camel clutch, he gets the pin. There you go. And it's time for Violent J. Great Malenko. And Dustin says that he's a real juggalo. He knows all the songs. I'm not sure if he does, or if he did, but he might have done. I don't know. Anyway, Violent J's pretty good, actually. He says that Memphis Wrestling is really honourable. He says that he's been looking for an organisation to be affiliated to Juggalo Championship Wrestling. I don't know if that's different to the other Juggalo Championship Wrestling. They kind of wrap together very, very quickly. I mean, we don't see much of it. Thank goodness that Bradley and Phil come out. Now, Bradley says that Phil used to be a juggalo, and he went to an Insane Clown Posse gig, and somebody bit his finger off, and that's why he's only got 9 fingers. I think he's mentioned it being bitten off by an alligator before, so I'm sort of taking it with a bit of a pinch of salt. But Violent J gets onto the commentary desk, at the desk, capital T, capital D, when Bradley and Phil are facing Kale and James Curtis. Now, Phil, I like his he backdrops his own partner onto Curtis. Curtis then gets a really nice high drop kick. Terrence isn't happy with having Violent J there, and why would you be? It's not a 3-man booth, is it? Bradley gets a sort of stroke to Kale for the pin. Jeff Jarrett's kind of move. And on the way out, Violent J says, I'm going to bring the Juggalo Championship Tag Champions to fight you. I like that, actually. I also like this, really like this. You got CJ Money and CJ's mummy. Ha ha ha. I know it's mom, but it doesn't work very well if you do mom. CJ's mommy, I suppose. Actually, it does work. CJ Money and CJ's mommy. Okay, let's do that then. She's out by the merch tables and says to a guy, well, what? This is CJ Blaine, but where's CJ Money? He's CJ Money. Where's his merchandise? And the guy behind the counter does it really well. He just says, who's that? It's him, she says. So she takes a CJ Blaine picture, I think, and I think she rips it up. Says, you paying for that? No, I can get it signed for you. That's great. That's great. I love it. Love it. Now, we've got Ray, who's out with his suit on. Nice colourful shirt and his gold chains. Very quickly, the shirt and the chains are coming off because he's going to be in his vest. Why? He calls out Simon. Simon gets attacked and is raised off the top with a punch, but Simon, which puts Simon down, takes a chair and smacks him with it, which is nice. Simon then bails, but out comes Ray, and Simon gets a power bomb to him on the apron, goes backstage through the bad guy's locker room, gets a table. They're ringing the bell. Please don't do this. He sets it up. Who comes in? DK, who's retired, isn't he? Now, really good close-up on Simon's face. He's like, hey? He's not here, is he? Yes, he is. Completely shocked. Lovely close-up. You get some DK punches and a super kick. That's all really well sold by Simon. And the piston punches. Piston punches. Yeah. DK's then at the desk. Capital T, capital D, folks. Says he isn't coming back to wrestle. He's coming back to fight. He leaves out and he says he'll be fighting at super bout. What he doesn't say is it's his final match. However, Dustin tells us that will be his final match. I quite like that. And I'm wondering why Big John Dalton is looking quite cold in the car park, watching a limo pull up. I don't know if it's AJ Francis, and then sort of being very upset and walking away. Don't know who it is. Maybe he'd ordered an Uber and it hadn't come. I don't know. Now, this is really rather good. I've seen Kerry Morton, who of course is Ricky Morton's son, in NWA a few years ago and thought you're a greenhorn and your dad's there to help you and you're okay. He wasn't a great promo then. He was a kind of white meat babyface promo. And he starts out that way. So it asks the camera to get close to him because on his wrestling trousers, he's got, wrestling tights, wrestling trousers. He's got on the belt, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, JCW on there. And he wants to fight. He wants to fight the best. He gives out an open challenge. Who comes out? Mike Anthony, who is apparently the MVP of 2024. Somebody's been listening to my awards podcast, I think, haven't they? Now, I thought when I looked at Kerry Morton, that's a really good promo, but it's really a bit overconfident. But I didn't know that he was a bad guy. I realised when he attacked Mike Anthony immediately. The match is for the Internet Championship, folks. He's a heel, and that's what. So now it's lovely. It wasn't too cocky, just a little bit cocky. I really loved that. Thought that was really well done, and the match is good as well. So early on, Kerry attacks him immediately, really. Gets the back suplex, a knee to the back. He works that back, of course. Nice clothesline, and he press-ups after he does it. See, arrogant heel work. I love that stuff. And you know that Mike Anthony is the best seller in the wrestling game, I believe. Marvellous. And we have had conversations. And it's not just about wrestling. It's about telling a story. And it's about knowing that story. And he is supreme at it. And that's quite right. That's why he's my favourite wrestler of 2024. The MVP. Now, Dustin then talks about Juggalo Championship Wrestling, or NWA, coming here and taking one of our championships. Now, because we've got the affiliation thing that might be going forward with Violent J, I did think maybe he will take the title. Maybe he will. So I did actually believe a little bit. But they're doing a kind of NWO. Well, it's NJPW, isn't it? Really, before you even get to NWO. But maybe they're doing that storyline, and I wouldn't mind that, Huge Mike Anthony chop. That, it resounded like a whip crack. And apparently, Dustin, as he says, he uses it. He knocked his nipple off. I love the way Terrence immediately says, "Oh, Dustin." Doesn't like that, Dustin talks up Kerry during this match, which is really nice. Kerry throws Mike Anthony off the top. Slingshot suplex, which is lovely. Old school, as Dustin says. I think I remember Tully Blanchard doing it first in the mid-80s. Then Kerry misses the knee, he pulls the knee pad down, but misses it. That's me pulling the knee pad down, you see. And there's a T-bone suplex from Mike Anthony. Lovely German suplex for a 2 count from Mike. But that's a great Kerry Morton brainbuster with a bit of a tuck. So, which allowed Dustin Starr to say, like a DDT, really nice. Won't cover because he wants to run at him with the knee. As he runs at him, Mike Anthony grabs the legs, gets his legs in position, rolls him up, gets the pin. It's not the ending I expected. Well, I expected Mike Anthony to win, but it's not the ending move I expected. Kerry Morton's really angry, but it's a great match. And it's a great episode of Memphis. Really good guest, really good angles. They're teasing us for some other angles. Loads of fun. People coming back. Great matches. What more could you want, folks? What more could you want? Memphis Wrestling. Got it going on. Ta-ta.